Good Thursday, everyone. I'm Cyrus Webb, and welcome to Conversations Daily News. Glad you all could be with us. Well, we made it over the last hump day of 2022. We're in the home stretch toward the weekend and the end of this year. This is our last week of Conversations Daily News for 2022, and we definitely thank you all for being with us. Of course, you have your news headlines coming up on this Thursday. We have a message from my book, Word That Choose to Live By, and in today's Entertainment Spotlight, we put my conversation with entrepreneur, actor, producer, Omegia Keeys. You don't want to miss that. Enjoy today's broadcast. For Conversation Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with their Thursday headlines. In national news, Southwest Airlines flight cancellations continue to snowball. Travelers who counted on Southwest Airlines to get them home suffered another wave of canceled flights on Wednesday, and pressure grew on the federal government to have customers get reimbursed for unexpected expenses they incurred because of the airline's meltdown. Exhausted Southwest travelers tried finding seats on other airlines or renting cars to get to their destination, but many remained stranded. The airline CEO said it could be next week before the flight schedule returns to normal. By early afternoon on the East Coast, about 90% of all canceled flights Wednesday in the U.S. were on Southwest, according to the FlightAware tracking service. Other airlines recovered from ferocious winter storms that hit large swaths of the country over the weekend, but not Southwest, says the Associated Press, which scrubbed 2,500 flights on Wednesday and 2,300 for today. The Dallas airline was undone by a combination of factors, including an antiquated crew scheduling system and a network design that allows cancellations in one region to cascade through the country rapidly. Those weaknesses are not new. They helped cause a similar failure of Southwest in October 2021. The federal government is now investigating what happened at Southwest, which carries more passengers within the United States than any other airline. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg, who has criticized airlines for previous disruptions, said that meltdown was the only word he could think of to describe this week's events at Southwest. He noted that while cancellations across the rest of the industry declined to about 4% of scheduled flights, they remained above 60% at Southwest. From the high rate of cancellations to customers' inability to reach Southwest on the phone, the airline's performance has been unacceptable, Buttigieg said. He vowed to hold the airline accountable and push it to reimburse travelers. In more national news, judge orders longest prison term so far in Governor Whitmer plot. A Delaware trucker described as an architect of the conspiracy to kidnap Michigan's governor was sentenced on Wednesday to more than 19 years in prison, the longest term yet given to anyone convicted in the plot. Prosecutors had sought a life sentence for Barry Croft Jr., who was the fourth and final federal defendant to learn his fate. The judge described him as the idea guy behind the plot and called him a very convincing communicator for people who are open to his views. However twisted or irrational it may seem to many of us, it did resonate to the targeted audience, the judge said. That is as important a method of leadership as being out in the field telling people where to go. The defense attorney said he would appeal the sentence. Croft and Adam Fox were convicted in August of conspiracy charges in Grand Rapids. Croft also was found guilty of possessing an unregistered explosive. In more national news, Paul Pelosi attacker suspect enters non-guilty plea. The man who allegedly broke into U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's home and beat her 82-year-old husband in October pleaded not guilty Wednesday to 6 charges, including attempted murder, prosecutors said. The suspect, which Conversations Daily News is not naming, had planned to kidnap the speaker, who was in Washington at the time of the attack, when he broke into the couple's San Francisco home on October 28, said authorities. Instead, the 42-year-old defendant severely beat her husband Paul Pelosi with a hammer in an attack that was witnessed by 2 police officers and shocked the political world. Paul Pelosi was knocked unconscious and woke up in a pool of his own blood. He later underwent surgery to repair a skull fracture and several injuries to his right arm and hands. He has since appeared in public wearing a hat and a glove that covered his wounds. In more national news, U.S. Supreme Court keeps asylum limits in place for now. The Supreme Court is keeping pandemic-era limits on asylum in place for now, dashing hopes of migrants who have been fleeing violence and inequality in Latin America and elsewhere to reach the United States. Tuesday's ruling preserves a major Trump-era policy that was scheduled to expire under a judge's order on December 21st. The case will be argued in February, and a stay imposed last week by Chief Justice John Roberts will remain in place until the justices make a decision. The limits, often known as Title 42, in reference to a 1944 public health law, were put into place under the then-President Donald Trump at the beginning of the pandemic, but unwinding it has become a torturous route through the courts. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention attempted to end the policy in April 2022, but a federal judge in Louisiana sided with 19 Republican-led states in May to order it kept in place. And finally, in business news, stocks closed lower on Wall Street. Southwest lost his mount. A broad slide for stocks added to Wall Street's recent losses on Wednesday as investors count down to the end of the worst year for the S&P 500 since 2008. The S&P 500 fell 1.2%, with technology, energy, and industrial stocks among the biggest weights on the benchmark index. The tech-heavy NASDAQ composite slid 1.4%. Both indexes came into this week with 3 straight weekly losses. Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. It's on time for a message from my book, Words I Choose to Live By. Enjoy. Good Thursday, everyone. I'm Cyrus Webb, and welcome to Words I Choose to Live By. The road ahead would be easier to travel if you could put off the weight of the past and the pressures of yesterday. Let it go. Free yourself. Use this opportunity to do all you can for as long as you can. Don't stop. There's so much more life left in you to live. Have an amazing Thursday. We are part of my conversation coming up with my friend Omegia Keeys in today's Entertainment Spotlight. Stay with us. You're listening to Conversations Daily News. For Conversations Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with the Entertainment Spotlight. Filmmaker, actor, author, and podcast host Omegia Keeys rejoined me on Conversations Live, the radio show, to talk about her success in the year that's been 2022. Here's a bit of our conversation. Omegia, welcome back to the program. Glad to have you.
Hey, Cyrus, as always, thank you for having me. We're down there, what is it, like 13, 15 years strong?
I know, right? Crazy. I know. But you know what? I'm so glad you said that, because I think, I don't take enough time, and I've been talking about it lately, Omegia, and you don't either. Don't take enough time to really reflect on all the things that have happened, in our professional journey. But you've had a lot going on just this one year. This is your second book to come out this year that I know of, at least. Fate of Reunion. You have the film Fate of Reunion. You have this new podcast, True Crime Remix. What has this experience been like for you to be able to kind of reflect on the year that's been 2022?
It has been kind of crazy. At first, I wasn't going to go hard this year, but I lost my great friend Greg Lockett, who was a big influence behind pushing me to do things. And that just put a fire up under me that I'm not waiting, I'm not holding back, I'm not doing anything. But I know people are like, well, you don't hold back anyway. But I'm like, y'all don't know the half of how much I hold back. But now I'm not.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say the same thing, Omegia, that you don't hold back.
but what y'all have seen, I was holding back.
Got you. Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. We thank you all for tuning into this edition of Conversations Daily News. We'll get on tomorrow to wrap up this week and our last episode of this year. Until then, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Daily News today. Now let's go make it a great one.